Captain America from the Marvel Universe, after he retires, he becomes a nanny. No kidding. Here he is, watching the girl on her first day of school. Keep a low profile, he tells her. But guess what? She can't keep a lid on her skills, not even in the first class.
3 plus 3? Really? What kind of school is this anyway?
The teacher's like, this little girl's got an attitude. And she says, stand up. Okay, what's 9 plus 8?
17.
The girl nails it. All right, then what's 15 plus 17?
32.
The teacher nods. And then she throws a 3-digit addition problem at her. What's 57 plus 135?
192.
The teacher pauses, thinking for a good 3 seconds. Then, correct. Next up, the teacher comes up with a problem that's way over a first grader's head. She's got to stump this girl, or else she'll look like a fool in front of the class.
57 multiplied by 135?
The girl takes a deep breath, lowers her head, and starts thinking. 5 seconds pass. The teacher's already smirking. She thinks she's finally got her. She's about to move on when the girl pipes up.
7,695.
The teacher's jaw drops. No way! She rushes to grab a calculator, punch in the numbers, and boom, it's 7,695. The girl even rattles off the square root.
The square root is 87.7.
The teacher's speechless. How on earth did she do that? Turns out this first grader is a math whiz. Mary's fed up with the school. This place is a joke. So she tells the teacher, call Frank. Tell my uncle to come and get me. Frank shows up like he knew this was coming. Smooth move. Getting Mary to school is like pulling teeth. Most parents dream of their kids becoming big shots. But Frank and Mary's mom, they want Mary to fly under the radar. Why? Her mom was a math genius. She was on the verge of cracking a world-famous unsolved math problem. But then she took her own life. In her will, she left Mary in Frank's hands. Frank takes Mary to a quiet seaside town. They scrape by, fixing boats and doing odd jobs. But somehow, Mary still grows up to be a genius. Frank tries to teach her a lesson using their cat, Fred. Look at Fred. He's fast, but he can't catch seabirds. Everyone's got their thing, so don't go around calling your classmates and teachers dumb just because you know more. The next day, Mary takes Fred to school to make friends. This is Fred. I found him in the dump. He's got one eye, but he's super smart. No one gets him or takes care of him. Teacher Bonnie listens, taking it all in. Mary breezes through the first grade math test in a minute flat.
Done.
But the teacher's ready. She whips out a junior high-level test. Here you go! Mary flips through it. So easy. And she's scribbling away. 5 minutes later.
Done.
The teacher's still not convinced. She pulls out a college entrance exam level test. She spent all night searching for these tough questions, determined to stump Mary. Now, Mary's in the zone. The test is full of square roots and absolute value problems. No scratch paper, no problem. She's doing it all in her head. Okay, this one's C, this one's D. And for this, we use the absolute value symbol. 10 minutes later, she's done.
Done.
The teacher's stunned. No way. I spent hours finding these hard questions, and she's finished in 10 minutes? Mary gives the teacher a little smile. And you know what? The teacher's actually happy. There's no doubt about it. Mary's a genius, but it's not long before Mary gets into trouble. This school bully's a real piece of work. He trips up a boy on purpose and starts laughing at him.
Look out! Your little animals are escaping, dumbass.
Mary sees red.
You did a mean thing to a little kid. What are you gonna do about it?
She snatches up a book and hurls it at the bully. Bam! She splits his head open. The principal calls Frank to the school right away. Your niece is turning this school upside down, he yells. Then he's like, we can send Mary to an elite school. She can get a scholarship, no tuition. But Frank gets all fired up. There's no way I'm sending her away. I'm proud of what she did. The school's out of options, so they go straight to Frank's mom, Mary's grandmother. That's exactly what Frank was dreading. Evelyn hears Mary's a math genius, and she's all over it. I'm the one who can give her the education she deserves. She'll be just like her mom, solving world-class math problems. Frank knows that if Mary goes with Evelyn, her childhood's over. Even if she becomes a big shot, she'll be stuck with a bunch of old mathematicians, arguing about non-trivial zeros. She'll end up just like her mom. But Evelyn doesn't care, and they've already cut ties. 7-year-old Mary's IQ is off the charts, like Einstein level. Now, Evelyn and Frank are going head-to-head in court over custody. Frank's in a panic. He's a handyman. He can't afford a lawyer. After the court hearing, Evelyn gets visitation rights. She takes Mary to her place for 2 days. First stop, MIT. She gets a professor to give Mary a test. The problem takes up half the blackboard. Mary's brows are furrowed. She stares at it for 10 minutes, not saying a word. The professor looks at Evelyn. His expression says it all. You said she's a genius? Doesn't look like it. Evelyn's furious. She's so embarrassed. She drags Mary out. I thought I'd found a diamond, but you're a dud. What's the point of raising you? She's on her way to send Mary back to Frank when Mary says something that makes her stop in her tracks.
Well, for starters, forgot the negative sign on the exponent. It went downhill from there.
Mary's got more brains than the entire faculty at MIT. There was this mind-bender of a problem. Took some hotshot MIT professor 3 long years to crack, and not a single MIT student could wrap their heads around it. But Mary? She breezes through it, using not one, but 2 different methods. The old professor's jaw hits the floor. Genius. Straight up, a genius among geniuses.
Mary, you knew the problem was incorrect. Why didn't you say anything?
Frank says I'm not supposed to correct older people.
It's crystal clear that Mary's got EQ to match her IQ. She's a total package. Evelyn drags Mary over to the MIT Wall of Fame. Up there, you've got the Millennium Prize problems, 7 of the most gnarly math puzzles on the planet. Even today, only one's been solved. And guess what? Your mom was inches away from nailing one of them. Mary eyes that empty spot on the wall and says something.
Maybe I'll have my picture up here someday.
That's exactly what Evelyn's been dying to hear. It's like she's staring at her daughter all over again. And you can bet your bottom dollar she's gonna stop at nothing to win Mary's custody. Fast forward to the court date. Evelyn pulls a wild card. She shows up with Mary's biological father. Can you believe it? Mary's own dad, a total deadbeat, can't even spell her full name. And this guy's supposed to be her flesh and blood, but the judge sees right through him and tosses out his custody bid. Frank lets out a huge sigh of relief. But later that night, Mary's a mess. She locks herself in her room, heartbroken. She's been living with the fact that she's got a father out there, but he couldn't care less about her. She feels just like Fred, tossed aside like yesterday's trash. Frank decides to take Mary to the hospital. They're standing outside the delivery room when a baby's cry fills the air. The family goes wild, hugging and jumping around like crazy. Frank looks at Mary and says,
"That's exactly how it was when you were born."
"You know what? You're a blessing from above." Finally, a smile creeps across Mary's face. Back in court, Frank's lawyer makes a power move. He lays out the tragic story of Mary's mom taking her own life. But Evelyn's as stubborn as a mule. She's still convinced she's doing the right thing for the greater good. Here we've got this 7-year-old math whiz stuck living in a dumpy little house with her broke uncle. Evelyn's lawyer comes out swinging. Frank can barely make ends meet. Mary doesn't even have her own room, no health insurance, no future savings. And let's not forget his drunk and disorderly record. The judge is scratching their head. Neither side seems like a great option. In the end, they decide to park Mary in a foster home. Both Frank and Evelyn get visitation rights. Frank's heart's in his throat, but he knows it's for Mary's sake, so he agrees. But Mary's in full-blown meltdown mode. "I love my crummy school. I love our ratty old house. I want to stay with Frank and Miss Bonnie," she sobs. But it's no use. Frank makes a run for it, leaving Mary in the dust. He broke his promise. A little while later, Miss Bonnie's scrolling through the classifieds. And what does she see? An ad for a one-eyed cat that looks exactly like Fred. She snaps a pic and shoots it over to Frank. One glance, and Frank knows it's his cat. You guessed it, one eye, just like Fred. The same cat Mary raised from a kitten. Frank floors it to the animal shelter. He's racing against the clock to save Fred from the needle. He bursts through the door just in the nick of time. When he sees Fred in that cage, he finally breathes easy. The shelter worker says, "Somebody allergic to cat hair dropped it off." Frank's mind starts racing. He knows nobody in the foster family's allergic. There's only one person who fits the bill, Evelyn. As soon as he gets home, Frank grabs a box and heads straight for the foster home. Sure enough, Evelyn's there, barking orders at a private tutor to drill Mary on math. Frank slams the box down on the table. "The problem you've been chasing, it's already solved," he yells. But Evelyn just scoffs. She's not buying it. Mary's mom, a brilliant mathematician, hated Evelyn's guts. And here's the kicker. Frank reveals that his sister's will specified the solution to the world-famous math problem should be published after Evelyn kicks the bucket. Evelyn's face goes pale. Frank's playing his trump card to protect Mary. He figures it'll take years to publish and defend the solution. In the meantime, Mary can just be a kid. After leaving the foster home, Frank spots Mary, seething with anger. He wraps her up in a huge bear hug and starts blubbering apologies. Back inside, Evelyn opens the box. She pulls out a stack of crumpled papers, stained with tears. Suddenly, it hits her like a ton of bricks. She finally understands the pain her daughter went through. The papers are like a prison cell, trapping her daughter's suffering. Evelyn's knees buckle, and she's a sobbing mess. But just like that, she pulls herself together. After a phone call with some big-shot professor, she's back to her cold, calculating self. Thankfully, Mary finally breaks free from Evelyn's clutches. She goes back to living with Frank. Frank takes her to college-level classes. But if she's had enough, he's right there to pick her up. She's out there making friends, playing games, and being a normal, happy kid. People all over the world are crazy about Mary, but Mary's heart belongs to Frank. He loved her long before she became a genius. Let's face it, a lot of parents push their kids way too hard. 6-year-olds forced to learn an instrument. 9-year-olds expected to be superstars. Hey lovelies, we all have those little struggles sometimes, don't we? Feel free to share yours in the comments. I'm here to listen and cheer you on. Don't forget, smash that like button and subscribe. Catch you next time.